Welcome to Policing TV. Each week, we will explore the highlights from our latest videos, diving into topics like AI, technology, drugs, and the people shaping the future of policing. First up was the second part of our interview with Cath Pickles, who talked more about the work of Restitute, an organisation dedicated to supporting third-party victims of crime, with Policing TV's MD Ian Tomson-Smith. Here, they discuss the upcoming conference aimed at raising awareness and support for victims.
So can I bang on about my conference now?
So yes, the conference. October, 17th of October, Stansted.
Yes. So this is a classic case of be careful what you ask for because you might get it. So I put a shout out to various different people, starting off with Jackie Long at Channel 4, who I met a few years ago when we did an interview with her. And first rule of thumb of anybody who's running any not-for-profit organisation is always get people's telephone numbers and never lose them. So I had Jackie's number. I sent her a message and I said, how many kidneys would I have to sell? I literally said this to her. How many kidneys do I have to sell to get you to come and host my conference? And she said, none. I'd love to do it. So I know. So Jackie Long is hosting it. I've got the Chief Constable, let me just run through some of these people. I've got the Chief Constable of Essex Police coming. I've got the PCC from Devon and Cornwall coming. I've got Jess Asato coming, who is a real specialist in domestic violence and abuse, who's an MP. I've got Caroline Noakes, who is now the Deputy Speaker. She's going to do my closing plenary speech, just reflecting what she's heard and her experience, and I hope she's having to be really, really careful because she's now the Deputy Speaker. I've got Sal Brinton, who is Baroness Brinton from the House of Lords, who has long campaigned for better supports for victims' families. And then I've got forensic psychiatrists. I've got former chief nurses. I've got Joe Finch, who is the professor from the University of Suffolk, who helped with our research project, which has really made such a huge difference on a strategic level. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be extraordinary. And it's not just one of those conferences where people bang on, clap, sit down, next person comes on. It's not one of those conferences at all. It's actually, hopefully, if everything goes to plan, a really structured activity, learning-based day. The huge majority of the speakers and presenters are going to be staying for the entire day. They will become part of the audience. They will be sitting on the tables and they will be taking part in the activities that we do. I'm not going to spoil it because if I spoil it for you, you won't get it. But it starts with a bang and then you're on this roller coaster throughout the day. It's scenario based. It is the most fantastic learning experience for anyone who's working with these families that you can ever imagine. Ian's going to be really nice. He's going to put all the links in the chat for me. But
I will, yes.
The feedback that we had, we did this conference 2 years ago in Norwich and people came out, well, some of them were crying, I'm sorry to say, but they were. Others came up to me and told us that it was the best conference that they have ever been to in 20 years. Everybody walked away with such a huge understanding of the opportunities. And in the last 2 years, if you look at the way that the referrals for Restitute have changed and grown, the areas that we are now covering, my hope for the conference is that I'm going to be creating a small army of people who are going to go back into their professional backgrounds, who are going to be championing parents, helping parents to feel better about themselves, and who are actually going to be referring to us.
Next, we heard from Gavin Stevens, chair of the NPCC, in his lecture at Liverpool John Moores University, LJMU. He discussed the importance of community safety and the role of policing in fostering trust and engagement within communities. Here, Gavin explores the historical principles of policing and the challenges posed by populism in the post-truth era.
But, and it is a big but, we now live in a very different world to that we were operating in the early 2000s. With over 50% of crime being committed online, with over 80% of crime having a digital footprint, with illegal commodities being traded on social media channels, with bots generating content that drives a wedge between communities that had previously been cohesive, with concerns over police standards, and influential leaders taking populist or polarised positions. So how much of that research remains valid? So that was a very long intro to the title of tonight's lecture. So in this time when public confidence can be shaped not only by the quality of local service, but by the tone of international online commentary, how should the police service respond? What are the historic principles and values that will help maintain confidence and promote safety in today's world? And what implications might there be for police reform? It's my belief that public confidence in us and our legitimacy police is not only shaped now by our understanding and engagement in solving local crime and disorder problems, but by our conduct, taken more broadly, our culture, and by commentary about our judgment, decision-making, and application of discretion. In other words, are we a police service that is there for everyone, or are we only here for some? Are we a police service that's prone to support some causes and not others, or are we truly impartial? Is there any truth to the criticism of two-tier policing? So to think about this set of problems, I'd like to go back a lot further than the 20 years of reassurance policing, back to first principles. Those set out by the first joint commissioners of what was then termed the new police, the Metropolitan Police in 1829. So often referred to as the Pelian principles, but all the evidence set out by Tony Moore in his wonderful biography of them indicates clearly that it was the work of Charles Rowan and Richard Mayne in setting out general instructions to new constables in their role as the first joint commissioners in the metropolis. Imagine that, a job share in 1829.
Lastly, as part of our continuing series from the World Police Summit, we heard from a range of educational establishments on the work they were carrying out with global police forces. In this clip, we hear from ACC Simon Dobinson from MPCC Aviation Security and Airport Policing, and Chief Paul Sell from the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement.
Okay, welcome. My name is Simon Dobinson. I'm an Assistant Chief Constable. My day job is I'm an ACC in the Ministry of Defence Police, but I'm here at the World Police Summit in my capacity as the NPCC lead for Aviation Security and Airport Policing. And I'm delighted to be here today alongside my counterpart, National Capability Manager Ian Sutherland. And we are here talking about aviation security in a global context. And I was privileged yesterday to be part of a panel discussion looking at the importance of global collaboration in how we tackle aviation security matters. And I was able to talk on behalf of all 43 police forces around the work that we've been doing in relation to information sharing, in relation to how we work together to be able to make a securer working environment for our people, but also to be able to give a much better, safer, secure environment for passengers, industry, and other law enforcement agencies.
Back at the World Police Summit with my dear friend, Chief Paul Sell. Welcome to Dubai, to the UAE Chief, and most importantly to the World Police Summit. We're obviously here with PolicingTV, policing network around the world. Can you tell PolicingTV's audience a little bit about your background and where you come from?
Sure. First, let me say what an honor it is to be here and to be interviewed. I couldn't ask for a better person to be doing it. You know, our lifelong relationship really means a lot to me, and your reputation in law enforcement around the world is just unmatched. So a little bit about myself. I retired in policing in 2024. I ended up doing 42 years in law enforcement, 22 of those years as a police chief. I was honored enough to serve in many positions during that time. I was the president of the New Jersey Police Chiefs. I was the president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the IACP. I'm the founder of Lead Law Enforcement Against Drugs. I'm working with and have continued to work with the International Counterterrorism Group. So I've been still working with them quite closely. And to be honest with you, my background is a lot to do with sexual and gender violence. I'm a public author there, and I worked over 30 years, having spent time on some task force. I also had the opportunity to work in South Africa. So I spent a half a year working with the South African Police Services on a tactical team. So I've been lucky enough to have a global experience and meet people like you.
Wow, thank you for that, Chief. I mean, most people that know you call you a legend and such a leader. I'd like to now know a little bit about what you're doing with your current association, leading campus police forces around the world. What is the mission of that association?
So the mission of the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators is looking not only at the sworn police officers, the sworn campus police officers, which is basically in the United States, but also looking at the public safety officers around the world. We understand that the first people to respond to any crime at a university, at a campus, where it could be a medical facility, it could be K to 12, is going to be the security. When they respond, we have to make sure that they know what protocols are in place, how to preserve evidence, how to make sure crime scenes are not disturbed at all, and also what the police responding expect from the security, as well as what the security expects from the law enforcement. So what we do, we have over 10,000 members representing 30 countries. And what we do is we continue to work very closely with local, state, and national law enforcement to build that nexus and create that gap, or fill that gap between the two groups, to make sure that communities at universities are safe. Currently, our organization is responsible for 20 million students worldwide. And we also do a lot of accreditation. So in the United States, all the universities that are accredited are through IACLIA, and that's through the Department of Justice. We then spend a year working with Canada, so all the Canadian universities that get accredited is through IACLIA, and now we're bringing that outside North America to the world.
Wow. And now you're here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and hopefully we can start getting some of the universities and the campuses enrolled in IACLIA now from here.
Yeah, it's one of the things we're working on, and actually we're working with the Ministry of the Interior to try to set up MOU right now. We're in the process of that, so we're hoping that works out. I've been lucky enough that when I was the president of the IACP, I helped create the international branch office for the IACP here in Abu Dhabi.
That's right. What a beautiful facility that is, too. Chief, in closing, what are your takeaways from the World Police Summit? What have you seen? What are you most inspired by what you've seen here in Dubai at the World Police Summit?
Well, first, it's the leadership. You have leaders from around the world here, right? This is more than just going to a conference. This is something that each and every law enforcement officer should attend, right? You have the best in technology, the best in leadership, the best in all that's actually addressing all the issues we face in law enforcement. And the takeaway for me is just continues to prove that all of us in law enforcement face the same issues. This is a way to address it and hopefully find some resolve in it. But no matter how big or small the scale is, we're all facing the same problems.
Chief, thank you for your time with Policing TV, and hopefully we'll see you around the world in the short future.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next week.